If you love your partner but don't feel that pull anymore and you're quietly wondering whether something fundamental has changed between you, stay with me because the spark fading doesn't mean your relationship is over. It doesn't mean that you picked the wrong person, but it does mean that something important is happening. Most couples panic at this stage. They assume that attraction shouldn't change. They assume if the chemistry were real, it would still be automatic. That assumption is what actually damages the relationship. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why sparks fade and what stage your relationship is actually in. I'm Deborah Catt, and I've spent over 2 decades helping couples build better sex lives and stronger relationships. And this work isn't just professional for me, it's personal. I've been with my partner for over 2 decades, and we've had to evolve our erotic connection just like everyone else. So let's lower the panic. This is incredibly common in long-term relationships. You share a home, you share history, you share responsibility, but you don't feel that charge anymore. And the hardest part isn't even the sex. It's what does to the sense of your relationship. You might start thinking, are we just roommates now? Is this what happens after 10, 15, 20 years? Is something wrong with us? That turns into grief. And that is something that most couples don't talk about because they don't want to hurt each other. And so it goes underground, and underground problems grow. So here's the myth that makes this all scarier than it needs to be. And that is, if the spark were real, it would still be automatic. So that belief really misunderstands how love evolves. Early chemistry is automatic. It runs on novelty and uncertainty. You don't fully know each other yet, and there's mystery built in. Your nervous system is activated. There's tension without effort. You don't have to practice that early spark. It just happens. But in long-term relationships, love moves towards familiarity and towards safety. The unpredictable becomes known, and the unknown becomes comfortable. Your nervous systems settle around each other. That's attachment. That's healthy bonding. It's safety and it's beautiful. But safety alone does not sustain erotic aliveness. When the spark fades, it usually looks like this. Desire feels muted. Touch feels affectionate but not charged. Sex feels predictable instead of alive. Often desire becomes uneven. One person reaches and the other withdraws. The more one pursues, the more the other withdraws, and the pursuer feels rejected. The withdrawer feels overwhelmed, and both people feel alone, even when you're lying in the same bed. Slowly, without anybody deciding it, you start to see each other primarily as teammates instead of lovers, efficient, responsible, functional. The spark fading is not the absence of love. It is the absence of intentional erotic attention. Because here's the shift that most couples never get. That early chemistry is automatic. Mature eroticism is a practice, and part of that practice is deeply personal. In early love, your partner activates you. The spark feels like it comes from them, from their attention, from their body, their unpredictability, and that's what feeds your turn on. In mature eroticism, each person needs to tend their own spark. You need to stay connected to your own body and your own desire, your own aliveness. You don't outsource your turn on. You don't wait for your partner to generate it for you. You cultivate it in yourself through attention, through curiosity, through staying present in your own sensual sexual life. And then you learn how to share it. Sharing that aliveness without expectation, not as a demand, not as pressure, not as I need you to want me so I feel okay, but it's an invitation. I feel alive. I feel open. I want to share this with you. That's where the shift changes, and it changes everything, because mature eroticism isn't two people trying to extract energy from each other. It's two people generating aliveness individually and then choosing to meet at safety and the edge of coexistence. It's desire without panic. It's repairing resentment before it calcifies. It's protecting erotic space instead of assuming it will survive careers, stress, aging. Mature eroticism is slower, more grounded, less frantic, but it's often more powerful. It doesn't say, prove that you still want me. It says, I choose you. That kind of erotic depth doesn't run on autopilot. It requires intention and attention. It requires practice. So if the spark has faded, what actually needs to happen is not more performance, not more pretending to be someone you're not. It needs to happen in structure. The pressure dynamic has to calm down, and resentment has to be addressed directly. The relationship has to shift from automatic living to intentional loving. And that's a skill set. That's learning how to regulate instead of escalate. It's learning how to repair before distance grows. It's learning how to create contrast inside of safety without destabilizing the bond. Most couples were never taught that. So if you're listening at 2 a.m. and wondering where the spark went, hear this. You are not broken. Your relationship is not doomed. But early chemistry can't carry a long-term love without practice. If you want the how, the real practical next steps for calming the pressure, rebuilding connection, and cultivating mature eroticism, the first step is a bedroom breakthrough call. On that call, we'll look at your specific dynamic, your pursue-withdraw pattern, your pressure points, the places where connection has thinned. This isn't generic advice. This isn't surface tips. This is real clarity about what would actually shift the energy between you. Because early chemistry is automatic. Mature eroticism is a practice, and a practice, when tended, deepens.